There's some questions I'd never asked you before because I hadn't seen you in a while, but I didn't know exactly how to approach this. But your brother, who was a coach with you, and coached Plainfield Absolute, and he's a legend. You know, he won 500 in basketball, but did he win like close to 800 games really in his total coaching career?
Geez, I don't know if you added up being with me in my travel ball and the high school ball. You know, he's got to be, he's well over the 1,000, 1,500 mark, maybe even. I mean, he coached a lot of games. You know, he coached. He mostly coached. You know, he got 555 wins in basketball, top 10 in the state for coaching. And you know, he coached years with John Schiffner in the Plainfield baseball. He got the volleyball program started at Plainfield and coached that for up to the last couple of years before he, you know, health kind of got in the way of that. And you know, he coached soccer. He coached a lot of sports. Yes.
Yeah. So, if you could tell me one thing that your brother brought to Griswold High School softball, the biggest thing that you could think of, what would that be?
Well, him and I were a team, and right. You know, so he brought balance. You know, sometimes I have to be the heavy, or be the bad guy, be the bad cop. You know, I have to instill the discipline in that. And he was Uncle Bob to the kids, and you know, oh, I love Uncle Bob. You know, I'd hear that 100 times a year. So he had his way of, you know, seeing if I've been hard on a kid and being able to reel them back in and let them know what, you know, that it's all for the good and that type of thing. So he brought a lot of balance to our, you know, we worked well together like that. Yeah. And it was easy for me to do that. I've had to change since then. I can't do what I was doing because I don't always have him there for that balance. Right.
So you have another coach now that has stepped in, and Shay Crosby. This is Shay's second year. Can you give us a little information on Shay?
Shay's an ex-East Lyme softball player who went on to play at Keene State. So she brings a lot to the table. She has college softball experience. She absolutely loves the game, and she's there to do whatever we need. So last year I brought her over. Now Bobby used to be my third base coach, and because I enjoy coaching first because I can be near my dugout and do the other parts of coaching. And so I sort of run the offense from the first base side. I give the third base coach signs of what I want or that type of thing. And so she took over that.
Right.
And so she did a very, very real nice job, and she'll be doing that again this year for us.
Good. This year you have pretty much your entire starting nine coming back.
Yes, I could take the lineup card from the last game last year and hand it in for the first game this year. It's pretty much the same team. Well, not pretty much. It is the same team. So, you know, the benefits of that have been that practices so far this year are just going really well. Everybody knows what's expected of them. You know, we go through our practice, and it just seems like at times where we're just getting our reps in because we're already pretty fine tuned as far as, you know, what it is. And so now we're able to try to pick it up another level and get into a little bit more details and, you know, raise the expectations.
So for those for the benefit of people that are not familiar with Griswold High School softball last year, can you refresh us and give us an idea of your team and where they're going to be starting?
Well, yeah, I can say, you know, if I look at, we're going to be starting, we got 6 seniors, and I can look at those seniors and say their freshman year, our pitcher in the preseason game came up with a bad back and never ended up pitching the whole season. So we were floundering around trying to find a pitcher because we didn't have one. And so we ended up going in that season, and we finished with 2 wins with this group when they were freshmen. The following year, we got 6 wins. And it's again, same thing. Pitching was our problem. It was walk fest and that and such.
Sure.
And then last year, after the 6-win season, we decided that we're going to stick with arguably our best athlete in Abby Matheson.
Yep.
And so we stick with her with pitching. And it's my belief that Abby would be an all-state shortstop should we put her there. But she's taken it for the program and for the team, and she's grasped it, and she's doing really well. And last year we won 15 games. So, we're looking to say, okay, I think our schedule is a little tougher this year than maybe last year. So, 15 win season would be a really good thing, and we'd look to go a little bit further in the postseason.
You buy better. Better it burns. Much better. So much better it burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better it burns. You buy better it burns. You buy better.
Who isn't trying to find a way to save a little money these days? Your insurance shouldn't be the place to sacrifice coverage for cost. At the Burns Agency, we can market your current coverages with a variety of trusted insurance companies all at once. Let us take the hassle out of the process for you. One call, email, or in-person visit to the Burns Agency, and you could have your home, auto, life, or business insurance quoted with nearly 20 insurance carriers. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
You buy better. Better it burns. Much better. So much better it burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better it burns. You buy better it burns. You buy better.
So other teams that are in the ECC, what teams would you say, other than yourself, if other teams would choose you, are pretty much the measuring stick of success in the ECC?
Well, I would like to say that Griswold's up there in the measuring stick. When you go to ECC championships, I think Waterford leads the pack with it's either 6 wins. I believe it's East Lyme is up there, and Griswold's right up there with in the top 3 as far as most wins of ECC tournaments. With that being said, the program, like I said, we went from 2 wins to 6 wins to 15. So we're not really the measuring stick now. So you would
going from 6 to 15 wins is pretty good.
Yes, it was a heck of an accomplishment for these kids, and so yeah. So we never felt like it though, and it felt like we were losing every game. I was never. I just seemed to never be happy last year, And I look back at it, and I can attribute that I wasn't happy because I didn't have my brother with me. So that's why I really didn't. Last year was very unenjoyable for me with 15 wins, and like I said, I was kind of miserable all the time, and I think I reflected that a lot during the season. I wasn't happy with myself when I reflect back. So this year's going really well. I'm foreseeing, a good season. And like I said, I got the good part about having a lot of seniors is that, sometimes you're trying to push them for their off season. Like you could have did this in the off season, you could have did that. And really the reason you're saying that is because you're trying to inspire them the next off season to do better, to get bigger, faster, stronger. So when you have a senior, the hay's in the barn. They are what they are, and we just try to get better each day in practice and see what happens from there.
So as you heard it first, Coach Arremony says that Griswold will win the ECCs.
Well, that definitely is a team goal.
And he's also saying that Griswold will win states.
State championships are so hard. You don't even know it.
I said the same thing to Nisbet the other day from playing field.
The first time we were in it was 2000. We were 2002. We went to the state finals and we got beat by Morgan 2-1. And then in 2003, we were in the finals and we beat Waterford 1-0. And that was 2003. And then we did not get back to the state finals until Maya Waldron and Maddie Labasia and that crew.
I remember the game. What was it in Stamford? You guys, it was against North Haven.
We played St. Joe's.
No, that was in the finals.
Okay.
The semifinals.
North Branford.
North Branford.
When Maya threw a perfect
A
game.
perfect game. And Kevin Merchant, who's back this year, him and I called that game. We didn't even realize it until like the fourth inning. Merch says to me, he goes, this is during a break, and the mics were off. Do you know she has a perfect game? I went, no, I didn't even realize that. And really that first inning hit, that home run by Maddie Labossiere, that was the game winner right there.
We never we played them during the regular season, so we had. There
was a little story with them. Going back and forth.
Yeah, and back then, it just seemed to be different. I was able to go out and do a lot of scouting.
Yeah,
and so that was a team, and I can say in my career that was a team I scouted the most.
Yeah,
just happened that way, and I just foresaw them as being somebody that we would see in the States. So Bobby and I had seen them. Well, I've seen them like 6 times. Bob was with me like at 4 of them. And so, we kind of had their number. We knew what they were going to do. And I can remember one play, they had this girl, number 10, and she was fast and she was a bunter. And we had practiced that. And she dropped on a beautiful bunt. Haley Hill scooped it up and fired it over to first. And it was just like, she had been working at. And I looked over at their coach and his palms went to the sky and said, what are we going to do? They couldn't get a base runner. And he says, if we're not getting on with that kid, we're not getting on. So,
yeah. So, I know that I'll never forget that game, that perfect game.
But, back to what we were talking about is that, it's so hard to get to the state finals.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
It's incredibly hard.
So we're going to look at the beginning of this season, and right off the bat, well, you got Waterford.
Yeah, we were originally supposed to open up with Putnam on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So Waterford's a week from Tuesday. This Saturday, we were supposed to be playing Putnam, but school conflict with music trip, I think it is. So I'm going to be missing too many kids to field the team. So So we're going with Waterford to start, and obviously that's a tough one to start.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, we haven't had much luck with them in these last 3 years. When I talk about 2, 6,
15,
I don't think we played them last year. Did we play them last year? Yeah. Last year was 12-1. We played them second game of the year. So they're a tough one for us. We haven't played NFA in a couple of years. So we go Waterford, Ledger. Ledger, I was surprised. We played them twice last year, and we came up on top both times. Mm-hmm. Which when I was looking at my preseason schedule, I look at them and go, "Boy, it'd be nice to steal one from them." And then we came away with both those things. So those were nice wins, and they were good. They were well played games. They were pretty close games, if I recall correctly. Let me see. Yeah, one was a 6-5 win, and the other was 6-2.
Yep.
So, those are tough games. And so we start with Waterford, we get Ledger, then we go NFA. When we play NFA in St. Bernard's, we're going to be playing it without our first baseman, Kira Nielsen, who was our all-state first baseman from last season.
Right.
So, we're going to be missing her. She'll be on that's during spring break. She'll be on a trip to France to see one of my other players, her sister, who's in France studying abroad. Yeah.
Nice.
Michaela.
Yeah.
So that's tough. And then we hit St. Bernard's, which is one of our divisional rivals. They won our division. They won the D2 ECC last year. And so, it's a big game for us as far as division, but we'll be playing that without her. And then she'll be back, and then we'll start with Bacon, Montville, which is all divisional games.
Right.
Bacon, Montville, Plainfield.
Strain Family Motors has arrived. They're your local auto super center. Put some excitement in your day and rent a Polaris Slingshot from Strain Family Motors, adjacent to the Green Onion Restaurant on River Road. Check out Strain Family Motors Super Center on Facebook as well as strainfamilymotors.com for everything sales, service, and excitement. River Road, Lisbon, Strain Family Motors, your local auto super center.
So how do you if you could look in that crystal ball, where do you foresee Griswold ending up, at the end of the year?
It's really hard. I would say somewhere 12 to 16 wins.
Okay.
A lot more, but if I'm just again, like last year,
Anything can happen.
I said ledger split, right? So when I'm counting them last year, I'm counting one.
Yeah.
On an optimistic side, So I kind of go through the schedule that way a little bit this time, and that depending on I wanted one. What if we didn't get none? Then we'd be more towards that 12 win. I'm guessing, with those type of games. If we win those, then we're higher up to 16.
Yeah.
And God, I don't take any game and just say, oh, that's a loss. I mean, I want 19 wins out of the regular season, but we'll see what happens. We're gonna succeed or fail as Abby Matheson goes. Okay, because Abby's a athlete pitching. Mm-hmm. Okay, Abby doesn't play in the off-season pitching. She, dusts off her glove.
She's a basketball player, scored 1,000 points for the Lady Wolverines in her career.
What an athlete!
Yeah.
Yep. And and so that was our thing going through. We didn't have any real pitchers, and it was like, well, and in softball, if you don't have a real pitcher, you take your best athlete and make him your pitcher. Yeah.
And you've had some really good pitchers in the past.
When you have good pitchers, you try to make them athletes.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have a pitcher, you make your athlete a pitcher.
Well,
and so she's, so we'll go as she goes. And last year she was doing good, and during we won 15 games despite her missing 4 games due to an injury. She rolled her ankle in the Plainfield game. Okay. So, if we don't have her throwing, then we would go with Summer McLean, and Summers would be, as far as with Abby, she's a step down, and she would much rather play second base than pitch.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was very, very, when I first started calling softball back when we were Wolverine Radio back in the day, I was not really, I didn't know what softball was. I thought it was like baseball. And then the more I watched it and Murch was teaching me along, it's a completely different ball game. There's a lot of similarities, but
yeah,
it's a completely different ball game. And I absolutely love it. And Coach, I'll be honest with you, you're an amazing coach with Griswold. And I'm so glad to see you're still here.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, I enjoy it. I've been, I think this is the 25th year that I'm with Griswold softball. I started back.
I'm just glad you didn't go to college school, because you could. But it's amazing. I love the way you take care of the field too.
I'm sure the school likes that too. Yeah, field is good. Well, it's always been a goal to, anything I've tried to get involved in is always try to leave it better than I found it. Mm-hmm. And so I'll definitely be leaving the field better than I found it.
Well, the field, the school, and the girls are all lucky to have you. And thanks for coming in today. And good luck for the 2025 season.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks.
All right.